So, hello. Today, I'll be talking about dimensions of cultural differences as it pertains to leader skill sets. So, cultural differences and dimensions in leader skills, with a focus on global multicultural leadership issues, um, you know, beginning with effective teams. Chin and Trimble assert that gaining the knowledge required to comprehend cultural differences is a process as well as a talent. A leader's personality or style of leadership frequently directs their action in different circumstances. Numerous psychometric tests analyze interpersonal communication or personality styles, frequently on two-dimensional axes, and then compare the results with the way the leaders should lead. According to Chin and Trimble, there are two main questions that come up as it pertains to diversity leadership. The first one is, do you adjust to the style to fit the expectations of the company and its staff, or do you stay true to yourself when there's some type of mismatch as it pertains to you know fitting into those expectations? The second is, which perspective do you use to evaluate the organizational culture, the environmental situation, or both? Then what skills are acquired simply by being a member of a socially marginalized population, such as women, LGBT, people of color, or dealing with a particular religion? So the dimensions of cultural differences as it pertains to leader skill sets, focuses on the explanation for cultural value dimensions, um, and that they are part of a continuum or spectrum, with one extreme part of the value lying at one end of the spectrum. Um, 14 cultural dimensions have been established, and research has demonstrated that they impact leaders' behavioral patterns and indicate cross-cultural and cross-group variances. The five primary factors by which culture differs, according to Hofstede, are power, individualism, collectivism, masculinity, and femininity, and then long-term versus short-term orientation. The way civilizations are functioning at extremes within the dimension deal with inequality, which is the main problem as it pertains to distance dimension. A ranking order in which each person has a position will be accepted by a heterogeneous community exhibiting a large power distance. Members feel more estranged from the organization as they increase the power distance, since it creates this illusion that they don't feel appreciated. And the individuality versus collectivism dimension, that tends to correlate with collectivism, while it's closely associated with an individualism. According to Hofstede, national culture individualism is a societal foundation that dictates that people should look out for themselves and their immediate family. These people, in a business setting, most likely watch out for themselves and occasionally others that are very close to them. On the other hand, collectivism tends to look after the fellow members, within their group, and they take care of those individuals. One might compare the current state of masculinity against that of femininity. The degree to which society perpetuates gender inequality and portrays role distinctions is referenced to as diversity in this context. The preference for success in society is represented by the masculinity aspect of this dimension. On the other hand, femininity is associated with um, those in need and high standards of living. Members of a society who are uncomfortable with doubt are said to be engaging in uncertainty avoidance. This dimension quantifies the unstructured future as not knowing whether or not to just let something happen, or should we try this. Um, Societies with low scores and long-term, short-term orientation component, as well as small degrees of uncertainty, tend to be suspicious of societal change and want to uphold customs and conventional happenings. They also favor upholding tradition over fulfilling societal commitments. Uh, these cultures support modernism and the future by, for example, enhancing performance. A successful multicultural community tends to impact on a common leadership common leader's competence and global leader issues can be investigated using the cultural dimensions. Equipping leaders with the skills required to lead in a multicultural and diverse workplace is linked to a number of societal objectives, including appreciating diversity as a beneficial component to business, fostering a peaceful, diverse, and global community. In order to guarantee that managers are intellectually fluent, Chin and Trumbull aligned with the diversification principle of inclusiveness, which includes members of both in-group and out-of-group, dominant and marginalized populations, majority and minority groups. Global leaders face challenges in self-worth, reputation, oversight, bargaining, communication, and decision-making, to name a few. When leaders must choose how and when to adjust to the expectations and views of the organization and its members, the question, who am I, comes into play. When it comes to image, leaders have a difficult time knowing whether to match their communication style with members' expectations. Even though these conundrums might not seem like a big issue or obvious issues, they provide substantial challenges for the international leader who lacks cultural competency. Leaders who uphold conflicting cultural norms about collaboration and competition may encounter more difficulties when it comes to negotiation and dispute resolution. Gender disparities and preferred communication styles can also lead to miscommunication and conflict. Self-awareness and self-awareness of leaders and knowledge, skills, and awareness. KSA, high functioning teams can, which states that high functioning teams can be developed using a variety of components. Sue, Arredondo, and McDavis in 1992 established the knowledge, skills, and awareness model, which uses multidimensional objectives to enhance cultural competency. Although it was initially created for education of physicians, the concept can also be applied to the training of other types of leaders. The body of knowledge required to carry out a task involving cultural differences is known as knowledge. It involves in-depth understanding of one's racial and cultural background, as well as the way in which life experience impacts leaders both individually and collectively. It is an admission of racist sentiment, attitudes, and ideas, as well as any advantages one may have had due to their social identity. Skills or aptitude required to carry out a specific work. More precisely, are cross communication skills. It entails looking for experiences in education, growth, and consultation to enhance cross cultural effectiveness and understanding. Awareness, influence, and attitude toward diversity and distinction are all parts of awareness. It entails appreciating these distinctions and being conscious of how they affect relationships and dialogue. It is the capacity to identify a person's area of competency limitations. Leaders can examine the way their individual background, social construct, and specific lives interact to access and practice successful leadership by using the KSA model to conduct an assessment of themselves at the awareness level. Relativity of concept. The KSA model, which is a diverse group, diverse and global leaders challenge and aspect of cultural differences in relation to the leader's skill set are related because they each provide theoretical foundations and real-world application for leading productive multicultural teams. When the KSA model is used to train leaders, it emphasizes diversity, uniqueness, and culture. Additionally, it's a process that helps leaders become aware of their own personal cultural prejudices, and they modify their leadership approaches to work better in various situations and pick up more efficient cross-cultural communication techniques. The content of leadership training can benefit from incorporating the 14 recognized cultural orientation value dimensions, as leaders must engage in the negotiations with individuals who hold varying cultural orientation values. Further conundrums may arise from potential discrepancies between a leader's social identity and the leader's identity. Thus, targeted training that targets the unique needs and concerns of these subgroups, such as training geared toward women or minorities, or targeted training to resolve the 8 recognized ethnic and global dilemmas, address this. Ultimately, this is the overview of dimensions of cultural differences and how it comes into play with leader skill sets. Thank you.